Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's blowing a gale outside, the snow's blowing sideways, and it's rather apt because tonight's report comes from Finland, and it came in from Michael Bachman, who you've heard me mention before, and he runs Cryptozoology News, and I've added a link to that in the description, so if you want to click on there, he has some amazing accounts from all across the world. Like I say, this is an account from Finland, and it's a man in eastern Finland who says he saw two hairy Neanderthal-looking humanoids. He lives in the Raautavaaran area, and his name is Iisakki Mieto. And he told Cryptozoology News he was chopping firewood next to his house when he came upon two beings on the 21st of December 2017. I live in a relatively secluded area with the nearest neighbour living kilometres away. The 48-year-old, who claims to hold a PhD in aerosol physics, obtained at the University of Eastern Finland, said about the encounter. The weather was dry and cold, well below freezing. Temperatures were really low, and there was already a layer of snow on the ground. And after firing up the stove in the sauna, says Mieto, he went back inside the house to have a snack. I checked through the window to see if the smoke was still coming from the sauna's chimney, and I noticed two vaguely humanoid figures exiting the sauna, leaving the door ajar and walking off into the woods. The two creatures, he adds, were big humanoids, walking in a hunched posture. After I lost sight of the figures in the woods, I checked the sauna, and it had warmed already pretty well, only that the door was left open so it had let the warmth out. I produced an electric torch from the anteroom of the sauna, and with its lights I saw that the unexpected visitors had left brownish coarse hairs around within the sauna. Mieto also added that he was able to observe a few footprints, but that the alleged creatures were barefoot, and it was hard to examine the footprints on snow, and it was on incoming dark, and I think that's Google Translate doing its thing. It's the Finnish word for dusk, so it was on dusk, the gloaming as we would say in England, but they were human-like, only larger. Only 2 weeks ago, Michael says, a woman in Portugal claimed to have spotted two similar figures that looked like primitive men. The 83-year-old told Cryptozoology News she and her sister were caring for a herd of cows when they spotted two primitive men. It was a long time ago, and I was 5 years old and my sister was 8, and we were in a remote area in the Sierra de Australia when we saw two naked men speaking a totally strange language, she said, and it happened in 1939. Then we saw it enter a cave. The following day, she explains, they decided to check out the cave with their sheepdog, but when we reached the cave, our dog didn't want to go in. He kept growling at my sister and wanted to go back, and we could smell smoke, and that appeared to come from the inside of the cave. Later that day, she reports that when they told their father about the incident, he became angry, and he told us he already knew about the existence of these people, and he said they were the original people who survived in a few numbers and were still living in a primitive state. I remember him saying that there were only about half a dozen individuals left now. They were the wild people, as the woman referred to them, and they were described as being naked and had a yellowish skin colour. In 2015, a man in North Carolina reported to have seen a 10-foot tall Neanderthal. Bernard Tillman on Thursday told Cryptozoology News back in November 2015, when he came across a creature. I was taking our dog for his daily ride, said the 66-year-old retired man. It was 6 p.m. and we were approaching a small creek on the downgrade of the road, and I was looking at the 4-feet saplings where they had cut down all the trees. Tillman believes the unidentified being did not see him and his dog coming. There he stood. We must have surprised him because he just was standing really still. The sun was setting between me and him, and he explained about the claimed 30-second encounter. The North Carolina resident described the creature as 10 feet tall humanoid walking on two legs. He was huge. He was massive in the back and chest. His hair looked black, and from the side of his profile, his neck and his head, his nose and his lower jaw, he looked just like a Neanderthal. Tillman was not able to photograph the purported being. Neanderthals were a species of human beings believed to have gone extinct around about 40,000 years ago, but there is a little bit of an argument about that going on. There's a whole 150,000 year spectrum of when they say Neanderthals died out. Raautavaaran is a municipality in northern Finland, and it's an island that's out in the fjords. Well, it's connected to the mainland. It's not an island per se. It's what would you call it? A peninsula that goes out into one of the fjords. And it's surrounded by thick Finnish woodland. And if you're interested to know what the area is like, so there is a guy on YouTube, and his name's Lars Monson, and he's a fantastic survivalist, and he's based in Finland, and he actually goes out for a number of months and stays out and takes videos when he's out there. And I mean, sometimes the snow's as tall as a man. It's unbelievable. So you could imagine that there is something living out there. And I mean, I know myself and Iger have got reports from similar areas not too far away. So I don't think he's just an American wild man or a British wild man. I think he's everywhere, and he's always been everywhere. So until next time, thank you very much, and thank you to Michael for bringing us that story. Good night.